You are Locked On Dodgers Postcast, part of Locked On Sports Los Angeles on the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
Well, that felt much better. Quite the relief. 2 outs, bottom of the ninth. Dodgers an out away from sweeping the doubleheader at Citi Field from the Mets. I am Pete Fox. Thank you for joining me here. This is the Locked On Dodgers Postcast on the Locked On Sports LA YouTube channel. Place to hang out when every game is done. And it is now official. 3-0 the final. Vesia comes in to slam the door and get the save. Secure the win. You can listen to us on the Locked On Dodgers podcast feed as well. The day off yesterday, really helpful, you'd have to assume. Very needed, very welcomed, and probably felt good for them. They talked about it a little bit today during the broadcast. Tonight's show is brought to you by Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use the code LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off your first ticket purchase. Terms apply. Download the Game Time app today. Well, they won the opener 5-2, the final in that one. And that one started off rather scary and just more and more and more of the same stuff. And I was just like, come on. I was watching on my phone and I was at Home Depot and I was checking out and the guy says, "What's the score?" And I'm like, 2-0 Mets. And he's like, man, what is going on with them? They're having a tough time right now. And when you look at that performance from Tyler Glasnow, you think really he made, a few bad pitches and one of them turned into a home run. So I look at that and I say, good job all in all from Tyler Glasnow, going 7, allowing 2 runs on 2 hits. But the big sore thumb in that performance from him was the 4 walks. Fortunately, he added 8 Ks with it. And I really kind of felt bad for the Mets because when Taylor Miguel left the game, I said to myself, this is not what they need right now. This is going to be a problem for them. And sure enough, it was. Taylor Miguel had them stymied all day. Just 3 hits, no runs, 1 walk, and 9 Ks. So he had it rolling. But then they had a nice rally in the ninth. Teoscar Hernandez a single, Gavin Lux a single. Then Chris Taylor using his old noggin, being creative. Now, I don't know if they put the signal on for the bunt, but Chris Taylor bunted for a base hit. It was almost a disaster because he almost bunted it into the pitcher's hand. But fortunately, it fell. Run scored. 2-2. And then we go to extra innings and the Dodgers scrape it out thanks to Freddie Freeman and a 2-run home run, his 6th of the year. And then a Mookie Betts RBI single in the 10th. Let's just confirm. Did Chris Taylor get an RBI today? Yes, he did. So they scored that a base hit. So that was nice. I loved seeing that. And I'm sure people like our friend Jeff, host of Locked On Dodgers with Vince, who's not a big fan of the bunt. Some people think he hates the bunt. He has clarified, I don't hate the bunt. I just think it's very hard. I agree. It is hard, but it shouldn't be that hard. And sometimes it's required and necessary. And it works out and it's beneficial. And it's what the Dodgers needed. They needed something to fire them up. Now, EK spent a lot of time through both games. I think it started in the opener and then continued into the nightcap where he was praising Teoscar Hernandez for a foul ball that kept the at-bat alive, and then he singled. That was the 9th inning single that ultimately came around to score. And that's a very, very valid point. Now, I thought he kind of harped on it a little too much, but the fact is that he's 100% right. The Dodgers lately, even in the first 7 innings of this game, were not being selective, first pitch swinging, all of that stuff, not trying to work the count, not trying to get on base. So the fact that Chris Taylor put that bunt down is the opposite of all of those things. Working the count, trying to get on base, being creative, doing something that maybe the opposition doesn't expect, And I think all of that is very, very positive. Ultimately, today was a very positive day. I thought that the Mets kind of snatched defeat from the jaws of victory, but hey, we will take it. Nando says Dave Roberts handing out hugs for winning. Fire Dave Roberts. All right. I thought Dave Roberts did a fine job today, as did Messia in the nightcap. Mr. Seabad, no Messia with Vessia. I love that. That's clever. Daniel Hudson. Yes, Craig. Very good point here. I was just getting to that. Daniel Hudson. This was kind of the snatching defeat from the jaws of victory for the Mets, because who was it that Hudson struck out there? Taylor. That guy, runner on third, bases loaded, nobody out. All he's got to do is put the ball in play and the game is over. 3-0 count. Hudson grooves a fastball, grooves another fastball, and then Tyrone Taylor pops up weakly. So exactly what the doctor ordered. Exactly. You couldn't have drawn it up any better. Everybody's sitting there saying, well, there's nowhere to put him. 3-0 count. What are you going to do? He's going to throw a flat fastball. What is that guy thinking? What's he waiting on? He's not going to throw a breaking ball. I mean, that's not the right pitch at that point in time. You've got to throw a strike. Granted, 3-0, you're probably taking with the bases loaded, but when it's 3-1, put the ball in play, make some contact. So that guy also had a tough day. And I praise him and thank him tremendously, because that was fantastic. Who else was good today? Just about everybody, but really Freddie Freeman won the day because he helped win the opener. 3 for 5, waking up with 3 RBI, his 6th home run, and just had that smile on his face, looked good in all of his at-bats, putting the bat on the ball, going opposite field, good contact, everything that we're used to seeing from Freddie Freeman was there. Now, Shohei Ohtani, clearly still not 100%. 0 for 5, swinging at bad pitches, flying open. Fortunately, he got the nightcap off, and I think that worked to the Dodgers' advantage. Maybe they'll give him tomorrow off as well. I think that would be just fine, because he's just not right now. Average down to 329, but Mookie Betts continues to roll. Just on fire. 2 for 5 in the opener, average at 336. And just really a confidence builder for this team. So the fact that the Dodgers pulled that one out late in 10 was awesome for their confidence. And then they come into the nightcap, which we'll get into here in a little bit. I did not do the postcast in case you missed it after the first game. So we're kind of cramming them both together here today, because that's what they did at Citi Field. I mean, there was like a half an hour, maybe 45 minutes between the end of game 1 and the start of game 2. So they just were not wasting any time. And I was surprised that they are starting at 1 Pacific tomorrow. Usually on a getaway day like that, they roll that game at 1 Eastern, but no, it's 1 o'clock Pacific. So that's good for the Dodgers as well. But fortunately, neither one of these games took all that long, and that was nice to see. Fairly efficient, not a lot of long innings. There was a handful of 6-7 inning pitches, and that was awesome to see as well. So the Dodgers win the opener 5-2 in 10. They win the nightcap 3-0 in 9 regulation time, which was good. I'm Pete Fox. Thanks for joining me here. This is the Locked On Dodgers postcast on the Locked On Sports LA YouTube channel. And you can listen to us along with Jeff and Vince, who do Locked On Dodgers, on the Locked On Dodgers podcast feed. I'm trying to go to the break here, but not working. Okay. We'll hit the break and come back and do the Diamond Dogs list. All right. Tonight's postcast is brought to you by Stitch Fix. Stitch Fix is such a cool website. You know that feeling you get of instant confidence when you get a new outfit? You just feel sharp. You feel confident. You feel clean. You feel ready to go. You feel smarter. You look better. Everything about that is a win. Stitch Fix can help you do that on a regular basis. What they do is they give you a stylist who gets to know you and what you like. Do you like dark colors? Do you like light colors? Do you like floral prints? And then they pick out clothes for you, what's on trend, what's stylish, and then they send it to you. You can easily upgrade your wardrobe with a personal stylist that helps you find new and on-trend favorites that will work for you. My stylist, if I had one, has been very, very helpful on just kind of, helping me decide what makes me look good, right? And my stylist in this situation is my wife. I don't have a Stitch Fix stylist at this point, but when I go and buy something at the various places I buy clothes, whether it's Costco or Kohl's or whatever, my wife will say, yeah, that doesn't look so good on you. Well, if you don't have a wife that is willing to do that because she's too busy, then you can go to Stitch Fix, right? Because they'll give you a stylist and they'll tell you what works for you and what doesn't work for you, and will help you pick it out. And they send it to you. And if you don't love something, you just send it back. Shipping and returns and exchanges are always free. So check it out. Style that makes you feel good as you look. Get started today at stitchfix.com/lockedon. That's stitchfix.com/lockedon. Stitchfix, FIX.com/lockedon. My eyes are very tired today. I could barely read that script. The font was so small. It's what happens when you watch, 6-7 hours of baseball in one day. But it was all worth it in the end. We come away feeling really good and shake off that 5-game losing streak. This is the Locked On Dodgers postcast on the Locked On Sports LA YouTube channel, the place to hang out when every game is done. We come on right after the game or games and break it down. 5-2 in the opener, which was a nice come from behind win. And I think that's going to build a lot of confidence for them when they were kind of struggling, trying to find their way, doing a lot of the same stuff they were doing before, swinging at first pitches, not working the counts, check swinging their ass off. I don't know about you, but I'm annoyed with check swings, especially from Chris Taylor. It was annoying the crap out of me with James Outman as well. I don't know if I didn't keep a tally, but it seemed like later in the second game, not as many check swings, more confidence, a more aggressive approach at the plate. Check swings do you absolutely no good. And more often than not, you're going to get rung up on a check swing. So if it's me and we're struggling, I'm not up there check swinging all the time. Swing the damn bat. It's going to be more beneficial than, trying to get a ball call when, it's borderline on the corner, etc. I don't know. I'm just not a fan of it. It seems like when they're going bad, they're up there being tentative and check swinging all the time. What is Mr. Seabad? And Dodgers no longer have to sleep on the couch. They can now sleep in the bed tonight. All right. That was a foul ball, Mr. Seabad. BC says, I'm good luck. 5-game losing streak, then bam, back-to-back win. So you weren't part of the losing streak, BC. Could be true. I don't know. Today, they looked good and felt very confident. So let's get to the Diamond Dogs list. Honorable mention from the opener to Freddie Freeman, the 2-run home run, his 6th, and the Mookie Betts single in the 10th, and Teoscar Hernandez to start the rally in the 9th, which tied the game. But I just did the list for the nightcap. In at number 5 on the Diamond Dogs list, Will Smith, first inning home run in for Shohei Ohtani, batting second. It was his 7th homer of the season, 372 feet down the line. It was a 2-1 four-seam fastball, and it looked like what we have seen from Will Smith lately. Now, he wasn't great in game 1, 0 for 5 with 2 Ks. So whatever changed when he moved up in the lineup to second, I think worked out to his benefit because it got the Dodgers started on the right foot. And that was a good feeling because they are 26-3 now when they score first. They're on an 18-game winning streak after scoring first. That is huge. As for number 4 on the Diamond Dogs list, Freddie Freeman, a double in the first, came right after Will Smith's home run. It was his 4th hit of the day. He had 3 in the opener and that one in the nightcap. It was a 1-1 sinker, and he went oppo with it down low, just poked it out there to left field. And that was also a very confident, very smooth swing. As for number 3, Miguel Miggy Rojas, an RBI double in the second inning. It made it 2-0 Dodgers. For number 2, Andy Pajes found his stroke again. He had a double in the fourth inning with 1 out. It came on a first pitch curveball. So it wasn't buried in the dirt and he wasn't fishing for it. He caught it right at the bottom of the zone. And, he's gotten better. He's starting to improve on that. Still struggling with the high fastballs that the league has found out is his weakness, and they keep feeding him those. But all in all, 2 hits for him today, and he looked very good. For number 1 on the Diamond Dogs list, Miguel Vargas, first pitch home run, absolutely pounded it down the left field line. 367 feet. It came on a 3-0 sinker. Oh, I'm sorry. It made it 3-0, but it did come on a first pitch sinker. So that was nice to see from him, a guy trying to get some time on the field, get some at bats. And obviously there's not a whole lot of room out there, but there's definitely a need. 7, 8, and 9, 2 for 8 in the nightcap, which was also positive momentum moving forward. Not smoking, but definitely better. And that is a big part of what makes this team go. Miguel Vargas in the nightcap, 1 for 3. Rojas, 1 for 4. And Austin Barnes, I had that hit late. I wrote that stat earlier. So 3 for 9. AB with a nice poke through the right side. And you could tell he was a little frustrated because he mouthed something with an expletive involved, kind of like F yeah, probably, or something. But it was a nice piece of hitting for him. I don't know that they care too much about his hitting, but it has to feel good for him as a baseball player because he was getting beat up back there, got hit in the head with a baseball bat, took a foul ball like square in the chops, and that just can't be fun when they just do that mouth thing like nah, nah, like that's all they need to shake it off. I feel like it is considerably more painful than that. That just gotta ring your bell. I always wanted to be a catcher as a kid, bought all the gear, and could never keep my eyes open. I was, as a little leaguer, could never get back there. I would always flinch. And that's the reason, because you catch one of those foul balls that tip like right into the mask. Ooh, that cannot feel good. Or if even if it comes down a little bit into the shoulder or the clavicle neck area, that is just not a lot of fun. So kudos to all the catchers. I mean, they don't call those their equipment the tools of ignorance for nothing, because that is a tough job and it's hard on the knees on top of it all. So, they deserve as all the credit they get. Austin Barnes and Will Smith DHing probably enjoyed that, but they'll be right back at it tomorrow at 1:00 Pacific, and Will Smith will be back there. Hopefully we can keep him back there as long as possible. He's still a young guy because, at some point he's going to say, I'm too old for this. He can still hit, probably a DH position, maybe. I don't know. I mean, it's going to be interesting to see what happens to him as he gets older, and he's going to be around for 10 more years, right? That's the new deal. 10 more years. There's no way he's playing catcher for 10 more years, and Shohei's going to be around. So I don't know, maybe Freddie gets a day off and they move him to first base or something. But his knees will not hold up that long. He's a very good catcher. So as long as we can keep him back there, that will be definitely welcomed. As far as honorable mention on the Diamond Dogs list, Gavin Stone deserves a round of applause. That dude was nails today. No runs on just 3 hits and a career high in strikeouts with 7. He threw 87 pitches, got the win. He's now 5-2 and a 3.16 ERA. As for the pitches he was getting people out with, he struck out the side in the first inning. Sinker, slider, change. I don't know about you, but I love that when they mix up their hammer, their strikeout pitch. It's not the same one. Now, granted, all 3 of those do not look dramatically different. It's not like he threw a big 12-6 curve in there, which is obviously a different pitch than a sinker and a slider, but a sinker and a slider look very, very similar. And sometimes if you throw a good change, they do as well. So he was definitely mixing it up, and that was nice to see. But all in all, not a lot to complain about. This Mets team was going great after they left the ravine about a month ago. And then they've lost now 11 of 14 or 12 of 15, if you count both games of this doubleheader. So they have just absolutely fallen off the cliff. Exactly what the doctor ordered for the Dodgers. They need a team that is just reeling. And that was welcome to see. I didn't feel like there was a ton of fight in this team like we saw from the Reds. They had a different sort of energy, a different sort of attitude, as if this meant something to them. Didn't feel that way for the Mets. Again, the homer from Francisco Lindor kind of was, Eric Karras kept saying that Gavin Stone or not Gavin Stone, Tyler Glasnow put it on his bat. He gave him the pitch to hit. It was, right down Main Street. It was served up on a platter. So it wasn't a great pitch, but he made probably 3 bad pitches all day, going 7, giving up just 2 runs on 4 hits. You can't say he made 1 bad pitch because he walked 4 people. So at least a handful, probably more than 3, handful of bad pitches when you're walking 4 people. But he did strike out 8 on 92 pitches, 3.04 the ERA after the performance. He came away with no decision because, again, the Dodgers tied it in the 9th. This is the opener now. I'm blending them together. We're kind of putting today's baseball activity into a big pile. A 5-2 win in the opener in 10 innings. Mookie Betts with 2 hits in that game, 1 run, 1 RBI. As I said, Ohtani 0 for 5. Freddie Freeman 3 for 5, which included the game-winning home run, his 7th. Will Smith 0 for 5. Teoscar Hernandez had 3 hits in that game as well. 1 run scored. Gavin Lux 1 for 5. Chris Taylor, the bunt single, 1 for 4. Jason Hayward got 1 late, and Andy Pages 0 for 4, but scored 2 runs in the opener. Don't remember how that happened if he's 0 for and only 1 walk. No walks. The hell did he score 2 runs going 0 for 4 with no walks? Did he get hit by a pitch? That's kind of a head scratcher. I do not remember. Let's go back and check. I'm baffled by that. That one is bizarre. How do you score 2 runs? He struck out swinging, flied out to center, grounded into a fielder's choice to second, Hayward out at second, and then grounded into a double play. Oh, he scored the 2 runs in extras. That's what it is. All right, cool. Let's take the final break and come back and wrap it up. Dodgers sweep the doubleheader at Citi Field against the Mets. I am Pete Fox. This is the Locked On Dodgers postcast on the Locked On Sports LA YouTube channel. You can also listen to us on the Locked On Dodgers podcast feed, where you can find Jeff and Vince breaking this one down a little bit later as well. Tonight's postcast also brought to you by Game Time. What is Game Time? Well, it is an awesome way to buy tickets to sporting events, concerts, music, comedy, whatever you're into, or if you're into a little bit of both. They have killer last-minute deals, all-in prices, great views from the seat so you know what you're getting, and their best price guarantee. Game Time takes the guesswork out of buying tickets. It is fast and easy. It's a great way to buy tickets for anything you need: sports, music, comedy, theater events near you, and you get views from the seat, which is a big thing in baseball, I think. It's just the way the field is shaped. Obviously, basketball, it's not quite as important. Hockey, football, but football could be helpful if you're down. Sometimes you don't want to be down too far, because that could ruin your view perspective as well. Game Time has deals right up until the start of the event. If you're willing to run the risk and be adventuresome, right up until an hour before the event, you can save up to 60%. I was looking around, and they have Dodgers are obviously on the road, but they'll be back in town after a day off on Thursday. So there are great deals on their tickets for the games over the weekend, or smoking deals. It was like sub $10 tickets to go see the Angels play the Yankees, which is surprising because there are so many Yankee fans. People turn out just to watch the Yanks. So take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use the code Locked On for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account, redeem the code Locked On, LOCKEDON, for $20 off your first purchase. Download Game Time today. Last minute tickets with the lowest prices guaranteed. All right. Dodgers win the nightcap 3-0 on the back of Gavin Stone. He's now 5-2, going 7 no runs on 3 hits, a career high 7 strikeouts for him. Freddie Freeman, 5 hits on the day, 2 for 3 in the nightcap. Teoscar went 0 for 4 in the nightcap, but Mookie Betts 2 for 5. Will Smith 1 for 4 with the home run. Let's see where Mookie sits in the batting average stats for the league. He probably is atop the league now because he has passed Shohei. Yeah, 338 leads the league. Arise of the Padres is second at 333. Contreras of Milwaukee 330. Ohtani has dropped down to 329. But yeah, there's definitely something wrong with Shohei Ohtani. They're talking about hamstring, and I guess that makes sense. It's a big part of swinging the bat. And by the way, I need to circle back to something that came up in the comments after the loss on Sunday, which was their 5th consecutive loss. And we were all a little ticked off and a little frustrated. And there was just not a lot of silver lining in that loss, in that series against the Reds. Everything about that was, a crap sandwich. So we looked at it and said, what's wrong with this team? And I happened to catch Dave Roberts post game at his desk in the office right after we got finished with the postcast on the broadcast. And he was as baffled and miffed as the rest of us. Like, I don't know what's wrong. I was like, really? You don't have any idea? But of course he's trying to be positive, and he's not going to sit there and rake his players over the coals. He said it's not for a lack of effort. It's not for a lack of wanting to. It's not for a lack of trying and practicing and all of those things. So that was good news. That's what you wanted to hear. And that's, we knew that. I think we all felt that, but we were still frustrated and grousing quite loudly. So then I went into the comments on YouTube, and somebody was probably not a Dodger fan, commenting that we Dodger fans are a bunch of whiners and complainers because we win too much. And, that shows you how spoiled you are. I'm like, spoiled? Explain to me how the Dodgers are spoiled. We have won half World Series in the last 34 years. So tell me where the spoiled part of being a Dodger fan is. Yeah, there's a lot of wins, but with that comes a lot of frustration when there are first round playoff exits. It hangs over the head of every Dodger fan. So for anybody to say that the Dodgers and the Dodger fans are spoiled, and when they lose and we complain about it and we're frustrated that it's just whining, is ridiculous. It is preposterous, because I'm just like, if we had a handful of, like, if the Astros, for example, who have multiple World Series of late in the last handful of years, it's in baseball, winning more than one World Series in a handful of years is very, very hard to do. So, they've reeled off. Texas has one, Houston has a couple, the Nats, I'm forgetting all of them over the last few years, but no one's reeled off multiple World Series in a row. So to say that winning half a World Series and we're complaining makes us spoiled is ridiculous. That is so far from true. I'm not diminishing their World Series, but you have to say that it's not a regular World Series. You could say was harder to win than the regular World Series. That's fine. I've argued that point as well, but it's not a regular World Series trophy. It's a half of one, because they only had to play 60 games that year. And we know that that's a big part of winning a World Series and getting to the World Series is staying healthy. So we can look at this and say, it's worth something. It's valuable. It's not meaningless. Doesn't deserve an asterisk and all that, but it's not a full World Series. So how are we spoiled? Show me where we're spoiled. I would love to see how the Dodgers are so spoiled. Yeah, we win a lot of games during the regular season. I feel like the Braves of the 90s. That's what it feels like. One World Series for that team. That's why the Dodgers need more World Series to solidify this run. It's crucial. So important for them. Whether it's this year or next year, it has to happen soon. Got to get a real World Series. Have to. It is critical to the success and, what's the word? Success and solidification of this Dodger team under Dave Roberts over the last, 10 years, 15 years. That's going to do it for us today. We've had some rest in peace, Bill Walton. Yes, indeed. That was sad to see. Quite the interesting character. I enjoyed all of the tributes that they showed because he was such a unique dude. My quick funny story, this didn't happen to me, but it did happen to a colleague, I believe, who was interviewing Bill Walton, and Bill Walton was famous for rambling on when he was being interviewed, so much so that this colleague of mine asked him a question, got up, went to the bathroom, came back, and Bill was still answering the question. I thought that is just one of the classic stories. And a final word here from Mr. Seabad. Strange thing is, the Brooklyn Dodger fans in the 50s were called spoiled because their winning percentage, yet they only won the 55 series. Exactly. So true, Seabad. Mr. Seabad. Sorry. Very good point. We'll wrap up on that. I'm sorry. Craig has one more thing here. Dodgers win one more game in the 2020 playoffs. Dodgers win one more game in the 2020 playoffs. What does that mean? Oh, we were doing so good, Craig, and we just fell flat on that one. Damn it. Damn you, Craig. I don't know what you're talking about. It's all right. Just messing with you. Thanks, Craig. I appreciate you and all the regulars tremendously. Thanks for joining me here. That's going to do it for our Locked On Dodgers postcast for a doubleheader today, sweeping the Mets at Citi Field, 5-2 in the opener and 10 and 3-0 in the nightcap. A matinee tomorrow. They'll get underway at 1:00 at Citi Field to wrap this up on a getaway day before heading home. They are off on Thursday. Tomorrow, the starters are James Paxton, the Big Maple, will take on Peterson of the Mets, and I will join you right here on the Locked On Dodgers Sports LA YouTube channel and the Locked On Dodgers podcast feed. Have a good night. We will talk again tomorrow.